When it comes to brands and branding, we need to build the strongest brand that we can. And to do that, we need to build reputation and we need to have visibility. As brands grow in visibility and reputation, this gives them the opportunity to introduce new sub-brands for services and products. This is great for the primary brand and it's great for customers. But the introduction of many more sub-brands can lead to confusion. And this is where brand architecture comes in. I'd like to show you the 3 most common types of brand architecture. So let's take a look at our first example. The branded house. With a branded house approach, the main brand identity or the master brand takes pride of place. Let's take a look at an example of a branded house. Here we can see the primary brand logo for FedEx. FedEx also has a number of sub-brand services like FedEx Express, FedEx Ground, FedEx Freight, FedEx Office, and FedEx Trade Networks. By doing this, each of the sub-brands benefits from the reputation of the main FedEx brand, especially so when it comes to FedEx Office, which is a different service offering to the other FedEx brands. Now, other examples of branded houses would be Apple. So you have the Apple iPhone, the Apple TV, Apple Music, the Apple Watch. And another example, Google. So you have Google Play, Google Docs, Google Maps, Google Analytics, and so on. For our second example, we have a house of brands. This differs from the branded house in that the primary brand isn't seen on any of the sub-brand products or services. The sub-brands are allowed to shine almost as if they were primary brands in their own right. And to the general public, that's exactly how they appear. Now this is good for the primary brand because it means that the sub-brands could actually compete with one another in similar brand segments. It also means if one of the sub-brands has a marketing fail, maybe it gets some bad press, then that won't transfer onto any of the other sub-brands. Let's take a look at our next example. Procter & Gamble are a great example of a house of brands with many sub-brands that most people would assume were brands in their own right, rather than sub-brands. Some of Procter & Gamble's sub-brands include Duracell, Pringles, Gillette, Febreze, Ariel, and Pampers. Their list of sub-brands is extensive. And the third type of brand architecture is the endorsed brand. This is sort of a mix of a branded house and a house of brands, and you will sometimes hear people calling an endorsed brand a hybrid brand. Here, the primary brand logo can often be applied to the sub-brand's logo, but more often than not, the primary logo appears quite small and the sub-brand's logo is allowed to shine and stand out strongly. What this does is gives the sub-brand the ability to become a household name in itself, but with the primary brand logo also appearing, it gains the visibility and the reputation of that primary brand. A great example of an endorsed brand would be Kellogg's. Here we can see a selection of their sub-brands like Pop-Tarts, Corn Flakes, Crave, Rice Krispies and Special K. Another example of an endorsed brand would be Sony, who have the PlayStation, the Vaio, the Xperia, the Bravia and CyberShot cameras. Each of these brand architecture types takes a huge amount of effort to build and get right, in both time and finances. That effort is rewarded though in visibility, recognition, and the wide array of products and services that the primary brand has now introduced. If you have any questions or struggles that are holding you back with your own brand, then you should look at booking one of my Power Hour calls. For more information on the Power Hour call and what it can do for you, simply visit the link that you can now see on screen. If you found this video useful, I'd love it if you could give it a like and share it with your own network. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and once you do, click that little bell icon and you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. So until I see you next time, stay creative, folks.